morning light filled the living room, catching on the decorations tied to the chairs. Anya paced by the front door, her heels clicking rhythmically against the hardwood floor. She straightened the banner hanging near the entryway one last time. Father walked in, his arms straining under the weight of a basket filled with toys, while Grandma moved to the fireplace, placing 2 ceramic bowls side by side. Everything was in its place. Anya turned to the window to check the driveway for the 10th time. A car glided to a stop against the curb. She pressed her palms hard against the cool glass, her breath hitching. The front door swung open, and the 2 puppies stepped onto the rug. They stood still for a moment, ears forward, surveying the quiet room. One moved toward the center of the rug, sniffing the air, while the other held back, watching Anya with steady focus. The silence of the house broke as the door clicked shut behind them. The wait was finished. The house felt different the moment their paws hit the floor. A new rhythm had arrived. The stillness lasted only seconds. Zuzu lowered her nose to the floor and nudged a rubber ball. It skittered across the hardwood with a sharp clicking sound, striking the base of a chair. The sudden motion triggered an instinct. Both puppies lunged. Cookie pounced on a discarded sock, shaking it with rapid rhythmic intensity as she trotted toward Grandma. Zuzu found the slippers near the door, hooked her teeth into the fabric, and dragged them into the center of the rug. She dropped them, spun in a tight circle, and bolted toward the hallway. The house transformed instantly. Paws scrambled for purchase on the smooth floor as they chased each other around the sofa, a blur of movement that sent a decorative pillow sliding off the cushion. They circled the table, darting under the chairs and back into the open space. The air in the room grew heavy with the sound of their panting and the sharp clatter of claws against wood. Every corner of the living room became a target. They did not slow down. They did not stop. The prepared space was now a playground, and the rhythm of the house had shifted from quiet expectation to pure, uncontained motion. The energy in the living room showed no signs of fading. Cookie pushed past the sofa and disappeared into the hallway, her claws tapping a frantic rhythm. A moment later, she emerged dragging a roll of toilet paper, her teeth clamped firmly on the cardboard core. She pivoted, pulling back, and the white paper began to unspool, trailing behind her like a long, fragile ribbon. It caught on the corner of a rug and stretched thin, creating a web that spanned the width of the floor. Zuzu saw the movement and pounced, prying at the paper with her front paws. As she scrambled to grab a loose end, the paper wrapped around her legs, binding her movements. She spun in a circle, trying to free herself, but only managed to pull more paper from the roll. The white trail covered the hardwood, crisscrossing over the discarded toys and slippers. Cookie continued to tug, shaking her head and sending scraps of paper flying into the air. The room was a wreckage of shredded white layers. The sound of footsteps approached from the kitchen. The puppies froze in place, tangled in the paper, as Mother turned the corner and stopped dead in her tracks. Mother took one look at the paper-covered floor and the 2 puppies sitting amidst the shredded white ribbons, and then she let out a sharp, genuine laugh. It broke the tension instantly. Father stepped into view, saw the mess, and joined in, his laughter echoing against the walls. Anya followed, crouching down to pull the paper from Zuzu's legs while the puppies wagged their tails, sensing the shift in the room's energy. The wreckage was forgotten. The heavy air of the house dissolved into a communal celebration of the chaos. The family moved toward the back door, and as the latch clicked open, the sunlight spilled inside. Zuzu and Cookie did not hesitate. They bolted across the threshold and onto the grass. The change in terrain sent them into a frenzy of movement. Zuzu sprinted toward the flower bed, her ears flapping in the wind. while Cookie raced close behind her, darting behind the trunk of a large oak tree. They tumbled into the grass, rolling over each other with reckless speed, legs kicking and bodies twisting. They were no longer confined by walls or furniture. Here, under the open sky, their speed was limited only by their own stamina. They chased the wind, they chased each other, and they did not look back. The sky darkened as the afternoon waned, and the first heavy drops of rain began to tap against the glass door. Zuzu nudged Cookie's shoulder, turning away from the yard to watch Father wave at them from inside. The transition back to the house was quiet. They crossed the threshold, paws clicking against the floor, and headed straight for the warmth near the fireplace. The air inside smelled of wood smoke and stillness. The family gathered on the sofa, pulling a thick woven blanket over their laps, tucking the two puppies into the center. Cookie let out a long, slow sigh, her weight settling into the soft fabric as she tucked her nose under her tail. Zuzu watched the shadows of the flames dance across the wall, her eyes blinking slowly. She looked at Anya, then back at Cookie, noting the steady rise and fall of her companion's breathing. Outside, the rain intensified, but the sound was distant and muffled behind the glass. The house was calm. The puppies closed their eyes, their breathing syncing with the quiet rhythm of the room. The search for a place to belong had reached its end. They were still, they were warm, and they were finally home.